So good afternoon, YouTube. I hope everybody is well over here on the channel. I am Danielle, better known as Danielle the Happy Medium, and in today's spirit class we are going to talk about opening, closing, grounding and protection, and how and if it is needed or not needed. So I have, from the questions and from the classes I run and the workshops I do, and all these sort of interactions with the general public or with students or mediums there, one of the biggest questions I get with connections to opening and closing and protection and grounding is it needed, Danielle? So let me sort of take you back for you into what I would say was the start of my mediumship and the start of me, working for the spirit world. And I was trained very much like everybody else was in, you had to have some sort of mechanic in or technique in order to be able to open up for the spirit world and then close down. So maybe you would have a flower upon your head and you would open that up when you were getting ready to work. And then once you were finished, you would shut that back down, or you may have a zip on or whatever it may be. What this is just a mechanic in order to, or a thing that you put into your mind in order so that your conscious mind is able to let you work for the spirit world and not. Now, when you first start out, maybe it is a mechanic that you need. And to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with that mechanic or with that particular thing that you do. What tends to happen is with myself, which is what I did when I first started out, as I've moved further and further along the path, I've now been able to just move my consciousness, which means that I just shift my mind, or I just shift my thought pattern from the physical world to the spiritual world. Now, that can take a little bit of practice, and there's nothing wrong with either or. It is ultimately how disciplined your mind is. Now, when I first started out, and with every medium that starts out, we're very excited to be working in the spirit world. It's a brand new experience, lots of sensories going on. And we're in there an awful lot of the time, sort of trying new things, seeing new things. And it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. So I can understand why this mechanic of the old style would be really good. Would be good for these sorts of things. As you get further along the path, like myself, you get used to not being in the spirit world as often, or you learn not to be in there as often as you were when you first started out. Why? Because I'm busy with my life down here on the earth plane. So I need to be a little bit more here and not so much in the spirit world. So learning to discipline my mind, which is what I've done over many years. Have I got it completely right? No. And do I think I'll always completely get it right? Probably not, no. But it's always learning and growing, and that's the big thing with mediumship, is what we started with in the beginning. As we start to move along the path, our thoughts and ideas change, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a growth in your mediumship. But if you like to stay this way, in the way in which that you started out, there is nothing wrong with that either. So it's up to you as to which technique you use. Neither one is wrong or neither one is right. It is ultimately up to you what feels best for you and how it will work for you. Now, let's get to the protection thing. Now, I'm hearing all sorts of things going on in the movement about this one, and I've done a tiny bit of research on this one. And again, when I first started out, I was taught, need to put a white bubble around you, you've got to put your cloak of protection on, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And, I did that for many, many years because that was what I'd been told. And I fundamentally thought that was true, right, and correct. I didn't feel that there was any wrong in that or any right in that. It was a mechanic again, like the mechanic for opening and closing. And it was something that I added to my mediumship because that was how I was trained. Again, as I've moved along the path and as I've changed, or my mediumship has changed, I've learned now not to work with any protection and put the intention. And this is the beautiful thing with mediumship. It is all about intent. So the intent when you're opening and closing, the intent for where you're working. So if my intention is I only work with the loved ones. I only work with the light. I only work with love. I only work with these types of things. Then the intention is that is all I will work with. So when we need protection, we are telling the spirit world in some capacity we're fear-based. We have some sort of fear that we're going to be attacked up there, or, you know, we're fearful that something's going to happen. Well, the fear isn't actually of the spirit world. It is a fear within ourselves. And as my mediumship has grown, and as I've moved forward, and as I've seen with other mediums that I've worked with, what has happened is as I've started to address bits and pieces of self, which in the mediumship movement is vitally, vitally important in order for you to be able to keep moving forward, growing and evolving. What will always happen if you do not improve the self, or you do not work on the self, you will always still have fear base in there because of the fact that some triggers are going off in your mind, something is making you react in a certain way, because it fundamentally brings back the past. And sometimes we go through experiences in life that make us very frightened or very scared, which puts us on a fear vibration. So when we work with the sort of this protection thing, it's not that we need protection from the spirit world, we need protection from ourselves. But what we are doing is manipulating the mind to make the mind think that there's something to fear from the spirit world. So it's vitally, vitally important that if you want to use the protection, by all means do so, but maybe have a look into that and see why it is that you feel that you need this protection. I've heard many stories about certain loved ones, they're not your loved ones, so therefore you won't know what they're doing, and these types of things. And while that is true, and yes, they are strangers to you, they still come with the intention of love, and they still come with the intention of they want to support their loved ones here on the earth plane. So really, why would they do any harm to you? Now, we could also go with the other thought, in which I hear quite a lot of, is there's evil spirits in the spirit world. Not everybody's in the light, Danielle. You know, there's earthbound spirits here on the earth plane. These sort of scenarios. And if we go to a couple of videos that I've been doing recently, you will understand that there's something about where I talk about the soul is perfect. The only thing that changes is the vibration of the soul because of the choices and decisions it made. That means that every soul that sits within the spirit world is perfect. It is just because the vibration is different, so it sits within the vibration of the soul groups, but that does not make it a bad person. How can it be a bad person when the soul is perfect? So why do we need to be protected or think that these people are evil, or that, you know, they have done such awful things, so therefore they're still awful in the spirit world? That's not the case at all. It's just that their vibration is vibrating at a different level to maybe your nana, who was a very good lady here to the earth plane. So it is up to you. I never tell people what to do. I just give you the thoughts to maybe go away and have a little think about how you do these techniques, and maybe try something new there. If not, stick with what you've got. If it works for you, don't fix what ain't broken. But all I ask of you as a medium is to take a bigger look at your mindset and maybe how you can move this forward there. So that is a little bit to do with protection. Then we get to grounding. Now, I got to be honest with you, still from time to time I ground if I feel I need it. I don't feel as if I do it every day. And when I first started out, it was part of the routine that I had before I even started working for the spirit world. So I would put my grounding down, I'd put the light up, I'd then open up, you know, and now I do, in fact, I do none of that. What I basically do is just shift my consciousness and start working. And then when I'm finished, just say, right, I'm done. Thank you very much, everybody. Time to go back. And that is exactly what happens. I don't have any issues or problems in that department. But again, that is because my mind has ultimately altered in the 4 years that I've been in the movement. But do I still ground from time to time? Without a shadow of a doubt. Sometimes I just feel it's something that I need to do. And I say with mediumship, especially freestyling mediumship, which is what I try to promote as much as possible there, is to do what feels right for you. So if some of this resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, forget it, move on, keep with what works for you and move forward in that capacity. But always wonder whether you could maybe stretch your mediumship or stretch your mindset there, because it's so important that you continue to evolve and grow as the self, but also the mind as well, and also taking a look at where you are in your fears and how you can change them. So folks, I hope you have enjoyed it. It's a one that I've been asked to do for quite some time now, but unfortunately there's been other viewers' questions that have gotten in the way, so my apologies there on that one. It is a bit of a longer video because there's 3 elements to it, so I hope that you'll watch it to the end. For myself, I am away all weekend, so you won't be seeing me now probably till next week. Thank you very much to all the new subscribers, and thank you to all those who have been hitting the notification bell, watching the videos, sharing the videos about. I'm extremely grateful. Again, this channel isn't for me to make money from or anything like that. It's just sort of to help you out there and to give you some sort of extra knowledge, because I know so many of you are struggling and I really do want to make a difference. But as always, I've been Danielle, better known as Danielle the Happy Medium, and I will be seeing you lot all soon.